Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Day, everyone. It's me, Hugh, and Eleanor is here today, but she's got to stay at home.
Yes, because last week was like that, and then this week there was a storm, so they're fixing a few things around my house.
Yesterday we talked about the storm.
Oh, you did?
It was a big storm. It hit almost all of Ontario, right?
Yes.
And almost all of Quebec.
Oh, was it Quebec too?
Yeah, it hit Quebec too, and Ottawa got it, and 10 people died, at least in Ontario. Maybe, I don't know what the Quebec numbers are, but and it was
pretty bad.
Yeah, so you're at home today because you had some damage from the storm, and we had some damage here at the studio. The sign blew down.
Oh, so the sign is gone. There's no sign?
Well, it's there, but it's sort of fallen over.
It's there and not there.
and the panels blew off. So with the election now, it's supporting a local, I won't say what party, but a local candidate.
Okay.
And two of the three panels blew off too. So I mean, it's
my God, that's pretty bad.
It's got to be rebuilt or something. It's yeah.
And I have a friend who lives in Uxbridge, and that it was even worse there. Apparently, it was a real tornado. They said it's a tornado, so it was pretty bad. And that's why I can't be in the studio today, because they're fixing a couple of things. My fence fell down. There's a hole in the backyard. I don't know where that came from.
A hole in the backyard.
There's a hole now.
Like in the ground?
Yes. So I don't know. It's something. It's pretty big.
Like how big?
I don't know. Big. It's pretty big. So I don't know if something is sinking.
Well, you know what you should do is, you know what they say when you have, what do you do when you have, you either make applesauce or you make lemonade. You know, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
You make lemonade. So maybe I'll just dive in there and then, I don't know, study the underground. I could do that.
You know what I would do? I would put in a pond.
Right. I would do that with what's the name of that fish? Is it called koi? Something like that? Yeah. They're cute, so I should have that.
You can have koi, plus with the food shortages that are coming, you can even eat those fish if you have to.
Exactly. Nice grill.
Yeah.
No, but so I'm already thinking about that. The barbecue, the fish, that would be nice.
Well,
anyway, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, it was very scary. It was a new kind of weather that I'd never heard about before. You think we've heard everything at our age, but this was a new kind of weather called a Derico. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah.
What's it called? Can you say that again?
Derico.
How'd you spell it?
By the way, Nancy has joined us, and we'll bring her right after. So I just want to let her know that. So this is the. Let me see if I can find a definition for Derico. How do I do this?
I was at the mall, and the lights went off. They were all in the dark. It was scary. My daughter was home alone. It was a relaxing Saturday, long weekend Saturday.
Yeah. So here it is. I'm going to show this.
Derico. See, you're also teaching me new words, Hugh. I mean, you're my inspiration.
Well, I just learned it myself. I'd never heard of this kind of weather.
From Spanish, derecho.
Yeah.
Straight. Widespread long-lived straight. Oh, okay. So it's not a tornado. It's a derecho or,
Right. But it could produce tornadoes.
I never heard of this before.
Yeah. And you know what they say when you hear a tornado? There's something about tornadoes that's kind of cool, right? I mean, to see one coming at you, it's like, whoa, right?
That would be quite an experience. Talk about my hole in the backyard. That's nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, they say when you experience a tornado, it sounds like a freight train, right? And I was here Saturday at the studio. This is when it came through, and I heard this it sounded like equipment starting up, right, in the warehouse. So I went
like, what is that?
I went and looked in the warehouse, and there was nothing. And I go, well, it must be the wind, because the phone went off with an emergency weather alert.
Yes.
Right. And then I went and looked outside, and the sign toppled over, and Errol was here. He had to move his car. He thought the car might, there were cars that were blown away too.
Yes.
In this thing. So. It's a big
And it was
deal.
pretty fast too. Like the alert came, and then after 10 minutes, there's the derecho or derecho,
Yeah.
which we now know what it is. Okay, now that we know what it is, we can
Yeah.
do without it. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. It's
Okay.
climate change is really bad, and we have to pay more for everything to account for the climate change.
Exactly, Hugh. See, you're well informed. You know how it works. So I'm glad.
Maybe we could blame climate change for the food shortages that are coming.
Oh, we can talk about that with Elena, who is our second guest. She works in logistics, but our first guest is Nancy Tavares from Paladin Security. So that's a whole different industry, but very interesting. So
hey, I'm seeing she's got the same grand piano that I have in my living room.
Really?
Yeah. So why don't we? You want to take a break,
Sure.
Eleonora? Make sure you've said everything you want to say, and then we'll bring Nancy on from
Yes,
Paladin.
perfect.
Okay, great. We'll be right back after this.
Can you tell us a little bit about the victims, the families, and why you decided to get involved?
Galani, one of the victims, Randall, she was my daughter-in-law. Something had to be done, and if you're a Native person, there's not. I would say, out of 100%, 5% of the time you see justice.
Lots of events on the weekend post-COVID. This is one of them. Dolly Sunday.
Blessed to be each and every Sunday.
In August, members of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, or CBU, will descend on Tobago for its 53rd Annual General Assembly. It's their first physical gathering in the last 2 years, following the relaxing of health restrictions associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. Recently, the CBU's local organizing committee signed a memorandum of understanding with the Tobago House of Assembly.
This is the first time they're having it after the COVID.
Well, both sides of the issue are debating and protesting over the Supreme Court's ruling on Roe versus Wade. There's an issue not getting much attention. The debating, arguing, protesting was extended front lines of justice, and the streets of our cities has dominated the attention of the media, as if we needed another deep division scarring our country. The Supreme Court's decision has not been released yet. The draft of justice.
Today I'm going to teach you how to make a whole chicken in the Instant Pot. I am so excited about this because the juiciest chicken.
Mince the fresh herbs together and add them to your seasoning mix. Now pour in 8 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter and add 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Stir that all together to combine and set it aside. This flavored butter will make your chicken and gravy taste incredible.
You are watching Carrot Vision.
Okay, I clicked it just in time. We're back on the show. It's me, Hugh. Eleanor's here. It's work. It's
Hello.
voices. What do we call it? What do we? Eleanor.
Voices from the workplace.
That's right. Exactly.
Voices from the workplace. We have people from the workplace. We want to hear from them. What's going on? What's happening? How are they doing? And it's amazing to have different industries all the time.
That's right. So people who are watching, no matter where they are, anywhere in the Caribbean, anywhere in Canada or the US, anywhere in the world, in fact, can learn a lot from this show and apply it to their business and just make life better for you and everybody else around you. And we're bringing Nancy into the conversation now, Eleonora. So
yes.
Here's Nancy. Hello.
Hi there. How are you?
Hi, Nancy.
Good.
Fantastic. I love your living room.
Oh, thank you.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
I hear we have the same style.
Can you actually play the piano, or is it someone else in the family who plays?
No, it's a virtual background, so it's.
Oh, you don't have to give that away.
I know.
It looks so real.
It looks so real. Yeah. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I was looking at the website of Paladin Security. That's the company that you work for. And we were talking, Hugh and myself, before we came live, and we've like, we never actually interviewed anybody from this industry. And I was looking at the services that you provide, and I was thinking, is there a bestseller amongst these services, so that you have a chance to talk about the company a little bit and what is your best-selling service?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So Paladin Security is a part of a larger group of companies as well. So Paladin Security, where I focus, is security guards. We work in various industries such as, healthcare. So if you go to the hospital, there might be a security guard or a screening guard, at the hospital, or doing patient watches, things like that. Those are the types of services that we offer. For healthcare, we also offer campus recruitment. So at colleges and university, campus security, retail office space as well, also industrial sites. So lots of security services, and our goal is to make the world a safer and friendlier place. And then there's a larger group of companies as well. So there's Pal American Security, which is our American partners, and then Paladin Technology, Paladin Risk Solutions, investigations, and so on, and also Concord Parking. So I myself am focused on the security guard side of the business in the people and culture space.
Security guards, like, it's something that, because you're in HR, so we'll get to that later. But security guards, I'm thinking, how did you navigate the pandemic situation? How was that? How did your industry do?
Yeah, great question. And it's been very, very interesting, and lots of learning for myself as well. So the security industry in our business did very well during the pandemic. So we had an increase in business. So a lot of businesses that were, remaining open, essential services, we were partnering with them in order to, help keep their workplaces safe, either through introducing new positions such as screening for vaccinations, asking questions to visitors that are coming into that location, so on and so forth. So we actually had, quite an increase in business due to the pandemic, which was quite interesting. And I know it's a little bit different than, what some other industries went through. So it's been quite interesting to see, the change through all the waves and the demands on the security industry.
Yeah, I noticed that in some of the places where I like to go, I noticed that there were all of a sudden, at the height of the lockdown, there was security guards at the door, asking you to wash your hands or take certain paths. You couldn't choose anymore where you wanted to walk. They would tell you where to go. So, and I'm just curious, because are you seeing the future? I mean, do you get maybe advance notice of more lockdowns in the future that we're going to need security people for?
Yeah, it's very interesting, and not a lot of notice, given the uncertainty, right, that we're dealing with the pandemic. And I've been finding, based on the regions, so my portfolio covers Eastern Canada, so Southwestern Ontario, Toronto, all the way to New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and so on. And it's different depending on the province, based on whatever those government requirements are. So, where we might have an increase in security needs in one region, we might be having positions come to an end because, that region is starting to open back up again and there's less restrictions. So it's definitely a wide variety. It's not a one size fits all. And we're having to really assess, what's going on in the environment, the external factors, and then work with our operations team to make sure that we can meet, whatever our client business needs are. We're having to adapt with that, and sometimes on very short notice. So we have to be, very quick and operate at a fast pace.
Well, but I heard that, I don't know if you guys heard this. I don't even know if it's real. But have you guys heard?
Go ahead. What is it?
Well, I heard that basically as of this week, they're having that conference in Davos, and the World Health Organization is going to take care of a pandemic response in every country now. So that,
if they sign the agreement, though, right? There's an agreement to be signed, or maybe they don't care.
Well, I don't know. Or maybe they already signed it. I don't know.
Maybe they already signed it.
I don't know the details. But I mean, that'll be great. We won't have to worry about Doug Ford anymore. You know, we'll just listen to what Tedros has got to say, and we'll just lock down whenever he says, which will be great for the security business, probably.
Yes, but guard services, I'm thinking, was it even before the pandemic? I'm thinking, do private clients require that? Because right now, of course, you're providing this staff to hospitals and, like you said, establishments that needed this kind of screening. But what was it like before? Was it really different? Did it increase that much, or was it still?
Yeah, great question. And, in full transparency, I'm fairly new to the industry myself. So I'm still learning a lot about the industry. Whenever I join a different industry, because I've worked for a few, and that's actually something that I love about people and culture and human resources, is that, there's human resources departments in all these different industries. So you get to learn so much. So, I don't want to speak too much about, pre-pandemic, because I was one of the lucky ones that got to start a new job right in the middle of the pandemic.
When it was rising, when it was good. So
yeah, I've been very much in that space since I started.
So your HR journey, I'm thinking about these services, these different people. Like, what do you think people need in order to be able to be good at what your company does? What kind of people do you look for? Because I'm thinking so many industries were hit hard by the pandemic, and some industries don't even exist anymore, or if they do, they're downsized. So maybe people could start looking for new jobs in your industry. And I'm thinking, as an HR expert, what are you looking for?
Oh, that's a great question. And we have a really strong promote from within culture. So we have a lot of people in leadership, operational positions who've started as guards, and they've grown into director level positions or even higher. So we have tons of these amazing promote from within stories. Also people that have joined security and then later moved on into policing or RCMP, those types of roles, because they get a really great experience through the security industry. And some of the things that we look for, depending on the province, is of course, a security license. And if you haven't gotten a security license yet, that's no problem. We can help guide you and hold your hand through that process. Paladin's also really well known for the training side. We're one of the leaders in the healthcare security industry and the training that we offer for healthcare specific security guards. And also customer service is a big component of what it is that we're looking for in our guards, being able to connect with the public, its customers, as well as the clients that we're servicing. They are employees, but we've got clients that we provide the services for. So having really strong customer service skills is also really important in the positions that we're looking for.
And you provide training to these people. Of course, you have a lot of training.
Yes, we do. We provide a lot of training. Yeah.
So remember that incident a couple of years ago downtown at the atrium? Do you remember? Was that you guys? There was security guys, and there was some guy armed with a knife, or no, it was a scimitar or something. He had a big sword.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was right across the street from our studio. So, in fact, this building right behind me, this one, they worked in that building there. Yeah. But they stopped. Somebody was like crazy with a sword or something like that. And they stopped them. And they were commended for it. Yeah.
These are the things that Hugh remembers, right? Like he remembers these weird, and nobody knows. I'll check up later if it's true. I'm pretty sure it is, but it's one of those things that makes you think about security, because we want to be, everybody wants to be secure, right? So that's why I was thinking, because of that, like, do you have a lot of requests for people who want to work for you? How is that working right now?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really trying to focus on building partnerships with schools. We're doing lots of different hiring events and fairs, and lots of people interested in joining the industry. So that's been a real positive, and we're continuing to grow. We have lots of opportunities available. We just are in the process of expanding and transitioning into New Brunswick, which is a new province for us, which is super exciting. Lots of opportunities, and looking to build connections with schools, maybe police foundation programs, things along those lines as well, where we can help get people the experience that they need and help to grow them as well with us. So we are seeing quite a few applicants, but we've got lots of opportunities currently.
Yeah, I know a guy who's a former police officer who I think he works as a security guard now. So he's got all that police training and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think those would be ideal skills for something like this?
Yeah, that's a great point. And we do have a number of people, even entering second careers, right, that are looking for something to do, post-retirement. And it can be a really great opportunity for some of those individuals as well. And we can find a great match that way. And also even our instructor or our training positions, right, where we offer, different training around management of aggressive behavior, use of force, things like that. We've seen people with a variety of backgrounds join us either early in their career, mid-career, or even, afterwards as well. Lots of transferable skills amongst, a few different industries that we can bring into security.
Mm-hmm. So you're in HR. So are you primarily, in terms of a call to action from this interview here today, are you primarily looking for people to join the company as security guards? Is that fair?
Yeah, we're looking for, more people to join. We've got a great number of openings. So certainly if people are interested, they can check out our website. We've got all of our jobs posted there to find out more and learn more about those opportunities. Absolutely, that's something that would be a great outcome of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to put the website up so people can actually go there. Can you just tell me what it is, and I'll put
maybe
it up
I can
there.
pop it in the chat box. Is that helpful?
That works well.
That works well.
That works super well.
There we go.
So
And
people
Nancy-
out there are watching, and here's an opportunity to get employed as a security guard. And Nancy, are you just dealing in Toronto or Canada, or is this all over the world, or?
Yeah, great question. So we've got various branches or locations across Canada. My sort of portfolio is on Eastern Canada, but I've got counterparts in other provinces that are overseeing their areas as well. So it's a large organization, Paladin Security, focused in on the guard part of the business, Paladin Security Group. We're about 16,000 employees and continuing to grow. So it's a wonderful organization to be a part with, and also you can grow your career as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
And what is your journey in HR, Nancy? I'm curious to know, where did your interest in HR start? How did you develop it, and how are you here? Yes.
Great question. Thanks for asking. So I took a bit of a squiggly line into HR. Actually, I consider myself a little bit of a late bloomer. So I ended up, after school going into more of an operational type of position, a general manager type of position, and then found myself in a situation where they had asked me to, help train other general managers. So I got into training and development, and then I went back to school, got my HR credentials, and definitely believe in the lifelong learner and being a lifelong learner. And went back to school, completed my HR credentials, did my designations, and then that allowed me and helped me to move up further in the HR space. So I spent, a lot of time deep in the learning and development function as a center of excellence. And then I've been expanding my scope into other areas of HR to where I am currently, which I'm really enjoying because it allows me to spend time in all the different spaces within HR, recruitment, and so on. So that's been a little bit of my journey into the HR space.
Yes, because it's very nice because it's, journey into HR is a journey into human nature. Mm-hmm. You have to see and discuss that and see how that is developing and what people are doing, what skills are they lacking. So I don't know if I could ask you maybe more a question about this, personal development. So different skills, leadership, decision-making. What skill do you see is maybe can we say, like, if you say it in a nice way, needs a little bit of more improvement in general, if there's a general trend, or maybe there isn't. But what have you seen in terms, I'm always curious to know, what should people learn a little bit more? What should they improve a little bit more when you're observing your candidates, when you're interviewing? What kind of skills do you think need more training than ever?
Yeah. Absolutely, that's great. I think definitely keeping an open mind when you're interviewing people, and sometimes I find that in recruitment we look for somebody that's done exactly that same job, and then if we're looking for a security guard, we want to find somebody with security experience is amazing, and this is true. However, don't pigeonhole those candidates. There's lots of those transferable skills. Focus on those transferable skills, things like customer service and those sorts of things that I can apply to many jobs, because if individuals are fantastic at some of those spaces, they can learn some of the company or the industry specific things. So I think keeping an open mind on the recruitment and not necessarily, pigeonholing anyone, and think about what can be learned, and think about what are some of the nice to have versus the must haves, and work with the candidates on some of those skill sets.
I'm just curious too, like what is the extent of the training that you offer? Like, do they have to go away for 6 months, or is it a week course, or that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. It does vary a little bit depending on the role and the position that the person's going into. To generalize it for a little bit, it's about a week of learning with us. It's a combination of virtual as well as in classroom training. Some of those topics again are management of aggressive behavior, use of force, how to deal with those situations. If you can imagine, maybe being at a sporting event, right? And maybe the crowd's getting a little bit rowdy, right? How do you kind of diffuse that sort of situation? There's lots of role play and interaction. It's very hands-on. And then depending on what industry the person is going to be working out of, they'll have specific training for that industry. So as I mentioned, healthcare, we're one of the best in healthcare security and providing training. So it might be healthcare or retail or whatever specific industry that person's going to be working in. They'll get industry-specific training, as well as then site training as well. So going on to that particular site and learning about the overall structure of that physical property, and how to properly ensure that the client has a secure business. So depending on the role, there could be a little bit more or less training, as well as some of our leadership training and management training also.
Okay, and I'm just curious too, like, are there any prerequisites that people need to kind of have in place before they can even consider coming and work for you guys?
Definitely. It depends on the province. So, for example, in Ontario, we do require a security license, or the province requires a security license to become a security guard. So again, if you don't have that yet, not to worry, it's something that we can work with you on. Right. And other provinces, the company applies for the security license, and the company sort of owns that security license or oversees it. So it does depend on the province, some of the requirements. But regardless of the province that you're in, we're more than happy to help guide you and hold your hand along the way for the application process.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like this, the fact of the open door they were mentioning earlier, Nancy, the fact that there's an open door, that it's not about what do you have, but maybe what kind of person you are. We can work with you if you're willing to do this. And also we talked about it, like changing careers. Why not? Moving into a totally different industry. I think it's happening now a lot. People just wanted to change careers. Do we have time for the last question, Hugh?
Yes, we do.
I wanted to ask you, Nancy, about your motto. If you have a motto that you live by, something that inspires you every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this question. One of my favorite ones. So the motto, or the thing that I tend to keep in mind, is that tortoise and hare fable. So you might know that fable from Slow and Steady kind of wins the race, but I think there's a number of lessons in that tortoise and hare fable, and one of them also is, hard work and dedication can overcome natural abilities and talents. So I think, what I take away from that tortoise and hare fable is that, through hard work and dedication, and if you keep at things, you can ultimately get to your goals. So sometimes it might be a bit of a windy road or a longer race, but I always like to keep in mind that tortoise and hare fable in terms of encouragement for hard work and dedication.
That's great, because that makes the difference. Hard work and dedication, whatever industry you're working in. Thank you for that. That was really nice.
That's fantastic. I used to know this courier company called Turtle Courier, right? And their motto was, remember who won the race.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's so true,
great.
right? These stories, they're just eternal. They're just life lessons.
Yeah. Do you have that? Do you have that fable in Italian, Eleonora?
Yes. La tartaruga la lepre.
Oh, okay. There you go. So fantastic.
And we learned it when we're little, yes.
Yeah, of course. So Nancy, any final thoughts for us, or we want to encourage people to go to the website scrolling down below and apply for a position with Paladin, but you want to leave anybody with any last thoughts? Or
No, I think that's great, and just want to thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
It's been great to meet you. Like I say, I love that piano. It's very similar to mine.
Thank you.
We might even know the same architect. Okay, great. Thanks for doing this. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back with Elena as we continue here on a Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, Nancy.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The beach is just the beginning.
Hey, Mr. Heil, can I talk with you?
Sure, Eric. What's up?
I don't like this class, and I don't like art, and I don't like my partner because she's really annoying. Yes, I love that. The colors are beautiful.
I know.
Oh.
So if any of us have played baseball or softball, we've heard that. We've all heard the other dugout with something to say. They didn't cross the line. They just said overrated. And then Drew Jones, a top 5 player, many project in the upcoming MLB amateur draft out of Wesleyan High School in Norcross, Georgia, answered back with that homer. I love that clip. Of course, the son of Andrew Jones, the legendary glove man for the Atlanta Braves. That was in a 6-1 win on March 2nd over Decatur High School.
Oh, I think my favorite winter event are the X Games. It's pretty exciting seeing high-speed competitors, especially things like skier cross. Think motocross, but on skis with 6 skiers across the trail.
I love all X Games. Well, X Games is located in Aspen, Buttermilk. Pretty dope, and I love skiing, I love snowboarding.
Hi, boys and girls. So happy to see you. Remember, this is your show, so come along and join me.
Hello, Mystery Max Detective Agency. How may I help you? Do you want to go try on some hats and dresses?
Will you help us pull this carrot out? Asked Daisy. Naturally, said Mabel. So Daisy, Floyd, and Mabel tried together.
You are watching Carrot Vision.
Okay, we're back, and it's Wednesday. That means it's only a short show today, Eleanor.
It is.
It's always what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's short, full of interesting information.
It's jam packed here. So let's get busy with Elena here. She's got her. Well, there she is.
Elena,
Hi,
there
Elena.
she is.
Good morning.
Hi.
Okay, let's see. Those glasses are fabulous.
They are. Love them.
Where'd you get them?
I got it here in Canada, but I'm Italian, so I can't help it.
You've got that style
She
thing.
has to be stylish.
Yeah.
It's just one of those commandments. She has to be.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
So, how's it going?
And she's a business and route development manager. So you know what? We're joking, but she's in the business for real. Like, she's an expert in logistics. And, so glasses or not, she knows what she's talking about, Hugh.
Okay, I got to ask you about logistics, Elena, because it sounds so high tech. Logistics. Like, I don't even know what that is.
So we're start from the basics then? Okay, let's start from the basics.
From the basics. Actually, I like to think about logistics as a big puzzle.
A puzzle?
Yes, where you actually have to put together a lot of different pieces to actually make a beautiful picture.
Right.
Because, again, logistics is, trying to move cargo, in my case, from point A to point B. But in between, there's a lot of things. And so you need to put together and find all the pieces in order to actually make the picture. So I don't know if that explains it, but.
Well, it does. It's just that in that in between lies there's a whole story to tell. All the fun, exactly.
Well, yeah, especially these days with the pandemic. I mean, I ordered something from China because everything comes from China. And it didn't show up for months. And then I had to get in touch with them and say, hey, it didn't show up. So something must have happened. And that was pandemic related. And I don't know. Are you facing a logistical nightmare right now?
Well, definitely, I guess that pandemic kind of disrupted the supply chain in many different ways. And I guess at first it was due to the fact that everyone and the entire world needed masks, sanitizers, all the medical supplies that we were not actually used to use so heavily. And I guess that increased the demand of that kind of products. And then I guess that with the first wave and then the second wave, there were a lot of lockdowns. And people would not actually perhaps go out very much. And so, and even if I can speak for myself, you work from home and you notice things at home. And so you start saying, I can renovate this, change this. And so I guess it's the demand also of consumer products increased heavily.
Oh,
and so, so I guess that's, when you have a traffic jam, the huge amount of cars that are all together creates that kind of congestion. And that is what is actually happening. And that, has been kind of a domino effect throughout this past couple of years. So I guess high demand, a lot of containers moving around, ports congested, not enough equipment, then definitely the fact that, most of the airplanes were not flying anymore because of the pandemic, and most of the cargo actually by air freight is moving actually with passenger planes. So that was not available anymore, and even that created, a very high demand with very little offer and supply. So then that, I guess, created all this effects that we are still seeing. At the moment, China is also experiencing lockdowns in many different cities. Shanghai is reopening slowly, but now there are other cities that are in full lockdown. So I guess that's all of this created this disruption that is still present right now. So definitely we have a lot of fun every day.
Wow.
You
so,
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
So it was a mix, I guess, because Elena, you explained it. I have to say you explained it really well, and I really understood what it's about. So it was kind of a mix of paralysis and hyper activity. Like it was both things. So some things were just stuck and blocked and they were paralyzed, and other things were just moving too much, I guess. So is that what caused this? Because now they call this the supply chain crisis, whatever. So this is what it's about?
Well, I guess it is a combination of things. It's not just that, but if you think that, throughout the pandemic, also some companies were at a reduced production because not everybody could work, or people were working from home, or there were people that were sick and they have to quarantine. So I guess that's, there are a lot of different factors that, we can take into considerations, but I guess that it's really a domino effect. If something slows down, then, there's so many different pieces in the supply chain and the logistics that need to kind of move like perfectly aligned. And when one of them is not actually moving at the pace that the other one needs to be aligned with, then everything kind of falls apart. At the end, for example, last year, there were about 100 vessels just outside of the port of Los Angeles waiting to dock. And so when you're actually waiting for so long, then you cannot go on with, the rest of the route. And so then everything delayed. And so that created also an imbalance of containers availability. Again, because if you cannot offload it and you cannot deliver it, so then everything, takes longer, and it took longer than what it used to be. So now we're very used to longer transit time, wait, and, we're unfortunately, and in this industry, we're at the mercy of a carrier, vessels, train, airplanes, airlines. So it is, again, a combination of things, definitely.
So I want to ask you, so I think we're at a unique moment. It's interesting that you're on the show today, because it feels like that we're coming out of this pandemic lockdown situation, at least here in Canada, but we hear what's going on in China, right? I mean, I heard first Shanghai was locked down, then 400 million people were locked down. I'm not sure what the situation is over there right now, but from where you sit with your, predicting the future goggles on, which I'm sure that's what those are.
Sure.
That's it.
Where do you see, I mean, how are things looking? How are things feeling from a logistics? You think things are going to get better now and better, or are we going to monkeypox throw a wrench into that system?
I would love to have a crystal ball and tell you what is going to happen.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. But there are two things. The first is all the surprise and wonder will be gone, so it will be very boring.
Exactly.
It will?
Maybe, I don't know.
Boring.
No, joke aside, I guess, we would love to see, that happening. But to be honest with you, at this moment, it's very difficult to say, even because of what you said. We rely so much on many different countries for our imports and exports that as soon as one of them is kind of stuck, then all the rest are stuck. So I'm not really sure what is going to happen. And if I can tell you, though, in our industry, we're really hoping that things will get, I don't know if back to normal is possible, but
maybe normal is a big word. But and
Yeah.
how did you cope? Like, how did your industry? I mean, it's hard to cope with such a thing because it was so disruptive, especially you. You were hit very hard. But what did people do to make things work somehow?
Well, I think that for us, communication is paramount, especially at this moment, because at the end of the day, there's, the reality is this new reality where vessels are delayed, even weather crises happen. For example, the flood in Vancouver, even that disrupted the Canadian supply chain terribly. So there's so many things that we cannot control. But I guess that communicating that to the customers, to the people that at the end are ultimately involved is the key. Because at the end, if you know what you're facing, perhaps you can adjust what comes next. So, a very transparent communication with our customers was definitely, and it is definitely key for us to cope with this situation.
So that they don't have high expectations and then you end up disappointing them, but actually you're not disappointing them. You're just dealing with what you're given, right? Which must be, I don't know, very stressful as well. So I'm wondering, and how did you personally handle this stress? Because I'm thinking, wow, moving things around that are not moving, and then you have somebody asking, okay, when are my products coming? And then you don't know what to say. And then at the other end, people are saying, I can't do anything. That makes you feel quite helpless, I think. So how did you stay focused and balanced throughout all this?
Well, I guess you know me, but I cook a lot. So that relaxes me.
That's
so,
good.
After a stressful day, I love to go back home and start cooking and preparing different things and try new recipes. Then sometimes I also exercise, but I don't know what comes first.
Okay, so cooking and then exercising. I guess that's the sequence.
I don't know, but
You have to
they
work
have to go together.
You got to
Exactly.
work off everything you ate. So at some point,
Exactly.
Yes.
What's for dinner tonight, Elena?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It depends how the day finishes, If I feel very inspired.
Maybe just a glass of wine.
Maybe that's it.
At least to start. Yeah.
So no, definitely that. But beside that, I guess that's, again, communication with my colleagues and try to, share in a team what's going on. And I guess that 2-3 heads work better than one head. So, that allows you also to find solution. And I guess that's what we learned in this period of time is also to think outside of the box. While before, I guess it was kind of, a little bit easier and faster to move things around. Nowadays, sometimes you have to be very creative and trying to find a different solution that perhaps we did not think about before. And so I guess that's, again, communication goes back to this sharing and promoting that kind of, environment where there is the sharing of the issues, but also of, the nice moments where, it is also gratifying when, you finish the puzzle and it looks beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
Hey, I just want to, it's like, well, you said it, like human beings are very creative. And you're saying because the situation's so unusual that you have to think outside the box sometimes just to get that, get the customer what he's paid for. And this might be a little bit of a weird question, but I'm thinking, I think if we were able to harness the collective brain power of everybody, that we could solve all these challenges, whether it's whether it's supply chain shortages or all these problems that seem to be, we're blaming the pandemic for a lot of the problems that we're facing right now. And it just seems to me that if we were able to harness the collective brain power of everybody, people like you in companies that are, because that's what work is. It's really a problem solving, right? But yet on the other hand, it just seems to me we're not given they're trying to impose solutions on us rather than asking for our help to solve the problems. They're saying, this is the solution. You got to do what we're saying. But I'm just curious, in your job of solving these problems, of thinking out of the box when necessary, have you seen any people putting up roadblocks unnecessarily?
I don't know. I guess that I can speak for myself. A lot of times when you have to do something that you're not familiar with or is different from what you've been doing for the longest time, there is a little bit of resistance because you need to learn a new process, you need to learn a new thing, you need to learn something new. So definitely, even in my case, sometimes there is kind of a resistance. But I guess that when you have other people that say, okay, let's do it, let's try and see what happens. I guess that changes also the mindset, and I guess that is also the key to work in a team and establish that connection with the team where we help each other to say, okay, let's do it this way and see what happens, and then eventually you try something else. But it could be at the end we are human beings, and we like to be in a routine and
our habits, right? Our habits, right? We love them.
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, and I guess even if I think of what happened with COVID, at first nobody really understood what was going on, and I guess there was fear, and even that, I guess that destabilized a little bit our lives and the way we did things and how we did it. And
it's about getting out of habits, right? This is one of the greatest things. Getting out of the comfort zone is hard for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, Elena, with the guest that we had earlier on, she was talking about how to manage aggressive behavior, which is very common. She's dealing with security guards. In your case, I'm thinking one of the things that you had probably to deal with the most was complaints. I guess that must be hard, right? Because complaints are always there in every industry, but I'm guessing your industry, because it's about timing, delivery, supply. Did you have to do special training on how to maybe handle complaints in a different way? I don't know. I suppose that was very stressful too.
Definitely no, we didn't get a training. But I guess, again, explaining the situation to the other person in front of you, and be very transparent, I guess, always helps. I used to manage a team in the past, and I used to work in project management. And I always said to the people that work with me, if there is an issue, let's actually talk about, the solution together, but with all the cards on the table. Because that way you can actually understand better what is in front of you and so deal with it. If you start to actually hide things here and there, it's more difficult to actually find a solution because you don't actually have a full picture of what is in front of you.
Teamwork, right? Teamwork. That's what you were saying earlier, like working in a team. But I get what you said earlier, Hugh, about the power of our brains. We came together and maybe we found solutions that were just genius. And the comfort zone doesn't help genius, right? Comfort zone is not so, but then when you don't have the comfort zone, that's where the magic happens. All of a sudden, maybe even people who were very, I don't know, they didn't think they had great solutions. They come up with great ideas because they have to, once you have to. So that's really a power that we developed. And maybe we didn't know we had it.
I totally agree. I guess that's even if you think about it, like all of a sudden, all of us actually had to work from home, and for the longest time, I think that there were a lot of different. I wouldn't say resistance, but it was like, if I'm not at the office, I cannot do 1, 2, 3. At the end of the day, instead we were home, and I guess we found a way to do it because there was no choice.
Before or after cooking, it depends.
Exactly.
And what does a person who works in your business, in your industry need? What do you think are the qualities that somebody who would like to work in logistics needs?
Well, I guess that's definitely you need some knowledge on logistics and how it works. And for example, to me, it was very fascinating when I got into this industry to understand how things work. I had no idea of certain things. For example, I had no idea that most of the cargo by air freight is actually moved by passenger planes. I thought it was just, when you travel, just the luggages are underneath and that's it. There's a lot of cargo, right?
Wow.
So I had no idea how that worked. So definitely you actually need that kind of skills. But I guess that also you need to be very organized and detail oriented. I think that, again, because there's so many pieces, that we have to put together, I guess that is definitely an asset.
Mm-hmm. Attention for detail.
Mm-hmm. And being very organized, I guess. And and I like that.
That's your thing, being organized and detail oriented.
Yes. So
okay.
So I guess that's it.
Well, I'm just looking at the clock here because we still have about a minute left. So Eleonora, I know you've got a specific question.
Yes, I always like to ask our guests if they have a motto that they live by, a quotation that inspires you every day.
Yes, there's several, but I guess that this one I like very much, and I learned it from one of my mentors in university, and he used to say that he did everything in his career to be happy. And that is what I like too. And at the end of the day, I wanted to be happy with, my life and, with what I do. And so I guess that this, keeping that in mind, it motivates me. It brings out that passion for discovering new things and to do new things and to really find that happiness that we're all looking for.
Mm.
That's amazing. Do what makes you happy. I like that.
And I guess that, we're so privileged, in the workplace where we spend a lot of time to actually do what we like. And that will also allows us to get to know ourselves better and, with what we do and how we do it. And
well,
so,
plus,
yeah.
Yeah. Plus, the great thing about working from home is that you can be cooking at the same time.
That would be nice, but maybe my boss would not like that.
Maybe, just maybe. But you haven't asked. You haven't asked, so you don't know.
But I don't work from home, so don't worry.
Oh, okay. So, we're guys. I hate to say it, but we're out of time. Is there any contact info, Elena, you want to let people know about?
No, I'm okay.
No, okay. Just reach us here at info@thatchannel.com, and we will make sure you get the message.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So thanks for doing this today.
Thank you so much.
It's been a lot of fun.
Very nice talking to you.
Ciao. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And Eleanor, that's it. We got to go.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you, Hugh, for today. That was an interesting episode, as usual.
It was great.
And
so
I'll
we'll
see
be
you
back
next week.
next Wednesday at 12. But we'll be back tomorrow at 12 as well for more here on CareVision, thatchannel.com. See you then.
Ciao.